to the 39th episode of the Addison County Country Minute. I'm your host, Well-Den Opinionated, and as always, a continued celebration of Don Harron. Well, it's that time of year again. You fellers and lady LLers knows what I'm speaking to. Ah, yes, furnace working overtime, stepping out of the shower, getting frostbite. 2 feet of snow on the windshield, woodpile sinking faster than the temps. Going out to start the vehicular and it begins to mouth off to you. You gotta ask yourself one question. Do you think I'm gonna start? Well, do ya, punk? Whoa, 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 whoa. Click, 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 click. You guesses it? Dead of winter's upon us. It's darn cold outside.
You say it's cold now? Well, how cold is it?
Let me tell you how cold it is. It's so cold, when you milk the cows, you get ice cream. Huh? It's so cold, travel agencies are advertising tropical holidays to Alaska. It's so cold, I saw a teenager with his pants pulled up. A what? It's so cold, fish are jumping out of the ice holes and straight into frying pans. Yummy. And dare I say, politicians have their hands in their own pockets. That's not something you see often. Anyway, yeah. On to the news. Now, a local preacher had a teenage son, decided it was getting time the boy should give some thought choosing a profession. Well, like many young men his age, the boy really didn't know what he wanted to do, and he didn't seem too concerned about it. One day, while the boy was at school, his father decided to try an experiment. He went into the boy's room, placed on his bed 4 objects: a Bible, silver dollar, bottle of whiskey, and a girly magazine. I'll just hide behind the door, the preacher says to himself. When he comes home from school today, I'll see which objects he picks up. If it's the Bible, he's going to be a preacher just like me. And what a blessing that will be. If he picks up the dollar, he's going to be a businessman. And that'd be okay too. But if he picks up that darn bottle, he's going to be a no-good drunken bum. And Lord, what a shame that will be. And even worse of all, if he picks up that girly magazine, he's going to be a skirt-chasing womanizer. The preacher waited anxiously, and soon he heard his son entering the house, headed to his room. The boy tossed his books on the bed, and as he turned to leave the room, he spotted the objects. The curiosities, he walked over to inspect them. Finally, he picked up the Bible, he placed it under his arm, he picked up the silver dollar, threw it in his pocket. He uncorked the bottle and chugged a couple swallows, while admiring the magazine centerfold. Shaking his head, the preacher says, Lord have mercy, he's gonna run for office. Yeah. Oh boy, that's not good at all, that's not good. Yeah. I didn't inhale. Oh boy. Anyway, the news. Speaking of preachers, one just kicked the bucket and is in line to go to heaven. Turns out there's another feller waiting too. The 2 start bumping gums and the preacher asks the guy, "What you do in your life?" The fella replies, "I was a bus driver, but I was a sinner. I gambled, cheated, drank heavily, a real rotten fella, the worst kind." The preacher says, "In my life, I was a preacher. I always gave to charity, was nice to people, and gave the longest sermons." Anyway, eventually, the bus driver walks up St. Peter. They talk for a few minutes, and the bus driver walks through them pearly gates. The preacher then walks up St. Peter, shaking his head a bit confused by what he just saw. "So what did did you do in your life? The preacher says, well, I was a preacher. I was always doing good things, following the commandments, spreading the good word. As the preacher steps to the gate, St. Peter says, not so fast. Whoa. I don't get to go to heaven, says the preacher. St. Peter says, well, I don't know. What? Said the preacher. How come that bus driver got to go to heaven? No. Explain, St. Peter. When you gave your sermons, everyone was always falling asleep. But when he drove his bus, everyone was always praying. Oh, Lord, don't let me die, don't let me die. Anyway. Tune in next week for another fast-paced, exciting, informative episode. Anyway, good, better, best. Never let it rest till your good is better and your better's best.